Subtitling bei Zweites Deutsches Fernsehen 2020. What? Elisabeth Bathory is considered the worst serial killer of all time. She is estimated to have killed 650 women. This is still the current world record. Elisabeth Bathory from Hungary, born in 1560, is considered the most cruel and deadly serial killer. She was born into one of Hungary's richest and most powerful families at the time. Most people think that with so much wealth, one would live a very content life. But can a being that has a soul find contentment in material things? Worldly pleasures may feed the body but leave the soul hungry. However, the body is guaranteed to die eventually. Elisabeth probably sought satisfaction in the wrong way, although in her defense, it could be said that she had an uncle who was a well-known Satanist. Her aunt was a sexual adventurer, her brother was a drunkard, and she herself suffered from epileptic seizures. Additionally, she had some cruel childhood stories. At age 9, during a peasant uprising, Elisabeth witnessed 2 nursemaids being killed by rebels with axes. And even worse, how her 2 older sisters were raped and hanged from the tree where she was hiding. When the peasants were captured, they were tortured and executed before her eyes. The method of execution was quartering. Elisabeth is said to have urinated with joy at that moment. At 15, she married a warrior who was known for his ruthlessness toward enemies. He reportedly taught her torture methods. They had a perverse and bizarre relationship. At Elisabeth's request, he reportedly deflowered a 12-year-old girl while she whipped her. At some point, her husband had to go to war, and during that time, she was alone in her castle. What's also interesting here is the unbelievable perversion and cruelty of her husband. For example, during the conquest of a village, he gave the order to behead the priest and to rape and burn all the women and children. Elisabeth, on the other hand, humiliated and beat the girls and maids, most of whom were no older than 14, who worked in her castle, with increasing severity over time. At some point during that time, she had another lover and caught him with one of the housemaids. Afterward, she tortured the girl with scissors, severing her vocal cords. From that event on, she killed more and more girls. She completely lost control over her sadistic thoughts and urges when her husband died. After that, she killed hundreds of girls, and no one stopped her. Most of the time, it was her maids she loved to bite and tear the flesh from their bones. It would take multiple videos to cover her life, actions and torture methods, as she killed hundreds of girls. Most estimates say there were 650 in total, many even say it was 800. For example, this is also said. When a girl who was doing her hair was clumsy, Elisabeth hit her so hard on the nose that blood splattered onto her hand. Then Elisabeth noticed that the skin, now smeared with blood, looked much younger and fresher. Elisabeth then called her maids, had the girl's veins cut open, and let the blood flow into a tub so that Elisabeth could bathe in it. It's disputed whether she actually managed to do that. Scientifically, this wouldn't be possible because blood coagulates quickly. She reportedly bathed in and drank the blood of the girls. She especially liked menstrual blood. Her maidservants had so little blood in their bodies that the villagers thought Elisabeth was a vampire. It even got to the point where she tortured nobles as well. It got so extreme that the king heard about it. Eventually, soldiers were sent to raid her castle. What the soldiers saw there could not be described in words. Several pale, suffering girls uncovered over 50 corpses, knowing this was just a fraction of those killed. She was arrested and walled up in her own castle. She died after 4 years in this prison. It was recently revealed that in a small village in South Africa, around 300 villagers, including several medicine men, consumed human flesh as part of a ritual. This came to light when one of the cannibals surrendered to police, placing a human hand and leg on the table, and said, "I am not hungry anymore." They reportedly exhumed corpses. So the world isn't getting any better. In my opinion, it's actually getting worse. Both in the past and today, there are always people who shock humanity with such actions. People responsible for the deaths of thousands or even millions of innocents. When serial killers kill 20 people, it's a global headline tragedy. What about the more powerful killers, the ones who don't get their own hands dirty, the killers we'd even take a photo with ourselves? People who, even objectively speaking, try to make the world a worse place. Killing for their own well-being? How can humans have an urge to do evil? Where does evil originate? So is there still a problem when someone claims that peoples like Gog and Magog will appear? Gog and Magog are not supposed to be animals or other brutal creatures. Gog and Magog are supposed to be humans.